Shut it back. Words of a faint, something like a bat. Well, I want your love, call me when you can. Girl, going up.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be going over the last Mirror Cup that we did, which was a regional cup in the local area, hosted by the Sylph League San Antonio, and we had basically used the exact same team comp that we used in the Mirror Cup of the West, except that if you had listened in that video, we wanted to not use Bronzong and instead use Sableye, so we subbed in Sableye in Bronzong's place. Now, it really didn't come up a lot. We didn't actually use Sableye in this tournament. It was a short 3-round tournament, and this first game we played against Lil Sarah, and she has Medicham, Alolan Muck, Azumarill, Swampert, Probopass, and Ivysaur, and we decided we want to start off Lapras because it's going to have pretty decent matchups against everything here. I think the main problems are going to be Probopass and Medicham, so we decide if they come in with one of those, we'll swap out. But they started with Swampert, and all we're going to do against Swampert is straight Surfs. Because of the lack of bulk Swampert has, we're going to be able to just use Surf to bring it down, and Surf charges so fast with Ice Shard Lapras that we're just going to be throwing him out just as fast as the Hydro Cannons are coming out. So we take out that Swampert with the Surfs, like I had said, and she brings in Azumarill, and against Azumarill, what you want to do with Lapras is just go straight Skull Bash. Now we have a little bit of energy advantage coming into this matchup, but our health is very low, so we're not even going to try to shield any moves here. We're just going to let Lapras go down and then come in with Azumarill, because we have Medicham in the back, and Medicham's going to be really bad against Azumarill. So we'll take the even matchup here and just play rough each other until, well, since hers is lower, she'll faint first. Now we actually go for the Ice Beam here. We're trying to bait that last shield. She does not go for it. But then we decide, you know what, we're going to shield this play rough here and just go for the bubbles and go into the next matchup with a big energy advantage against whatever Pokemon here is in the back. And it's actually Medicham, and we go for the play rough, which is going to be super effective. No shield there, interesting. And now all we have to do is get to an Ice Beam, and we're good. And we're not even going to shield because Power Up Punch is going to be... oh, wow, it's an Ice Punch. So both Power Up Punch and Ice Punch are going to be resisted by Azumarill. So as long as we make it to this Ice Beam, then we're going to be fine. She shields, but Medicham's so low, we just have to auto-attack it to bring it down. And she might only have Ice Punch on this Medicham, so we're gonna have that in our mind going into this game 2 here. We decided that comp worked really well, so we're gonna start it again, hoping that there's no Medicham or Probopass start. And looks like we catch the Swampert match again. So like I said, Swampert, really good matchup for Lapras. The only thing that's really could hurt is the Earthquake, but I don't think you'll ever make it to the Earthquake unless you spend all of your shields. So she comes in with the Ivysaur. We're going to be fearing the Power Whip, so we're going to shield here. And she actually uses Sludge Bomb, which makes me think that this Ivysaur may also only have one move, and it doesn't have a grass move, so we're going to be not too scared on Lapras. We're just going to be taking these Vine Whips, which aren't doing a ton of damage. Yeah, they're super effective, but they don't do a lot of damage. They're more of an energy gain than anything else. And we're just going to go straight Surf until we take out that Ivysaur. Swampert comes back in, takes out our Lapras, but we come back in with Medicham. And we're just going to be looking to Power Up Punch the entirety of this matchup. Hopefully getting Azumarill charged up to take on whatever's in the back. Although these Hydro Cannons do hurt a lot. I think they do about 55%. It looks like 50-55%. And we have the Swampert so low here, we wanted to farm it down, which may have been a mistake because now we're going to lose the Azumarill. Or not the Azumarill, the Medicham. And bring back in the Lapras against what's in the back, which is Probopass, which is really bad for us because we have 2 water Mon in the back, and I can see that it has Charge Beam, which is even worse for us, since we have 2 water types here. But if you noticed, that was a Magnet Bomb, which is interesting, which might tell me that she doesn't have the Thunderbolt, which would do the super effective damage against both of these Pokemon. So we're not going to be doing very much effective damage either with our charge moves, but I think if we just get enough bubbles in, we're going to be able to take it down, since it looks like it only has the Magnet Bomb. So yeah, I had asked her, and she said this is her first time playing in quite a while at this tournament. So round 2 here is Texas Made, really good trainer out here, and they're running Medicham, Lantern, Tropius, Skarmory, Azumarill, and Altaria. So triple flyer, double water, and a Medicham. So with triple flyer, I'm thinking I got to bring in both of my water types. And we really aren't too scared of anything except for if the Tropius is Razor Leaf version and Lantern. So he actually does start with Lantern. We want to shield the Thunderbolts because we just want to make it to the Skull Bashes to do the neutral damage to Lantern and to give us that defensive boost whether or not they block. So they do block, but we still get the defensive boost 100% of the time. If you don't know how Skull Bash works, it works every time you use it, it will give you that defensive boost in addition to any previous ones that you had, whether or not they block, they shield it or not. And so we're continuing to shield all of the Thunderbolts in order to get off our Skull Bashes, and now I'm looking to just put in my Tropius when the Thunderbolt was coming up, which we timed that perfectly. Pretty lucky of us. We end up eating that Thunderbolt on the Tropius, but he has Skarmory in the back, which is going to just farm us down, so this is really bad for us. But luckily in the back, both of our Pokemon are good against Skarmory, so hopefully we can farm it down and get back into the Lantern matchup with energy to take out the Lantern. Now that our Tropius is gone, we no longer have that easier road to defeat Lantern. Lantern now is really tough for us to beat. So Azumarill comes in, and Azumarill's tankiness is going to be sort of like a shield. He's just going to eat up 2 of these Sky attacks here, or I think the first one was a Flash Cannon, if I remember. And then we're just going to go straight Ice Beams against the Skarmory to take it out. Which we do right here. We're super low on health though, so I assume he's... Oh wow, I thought he was going to bring back in the Lantern. Oh, I forgot to say, this is the second game. Also, if you notice the wins at the bottom. I guess something is happening with my phone where it doesn't always save the recordings, because this time I made sure that I was recording every single match, and I couldn't find this recording anywhere on my phone. So he ends up taking us out. His team was really well prepared for our team. He had the Lantern and the Tropius, which are the things we fear most on our team because of all the water types that we have. And so this game we decide to sub out the Azumarill for the Lantern. I want to have a extreme counter to the Skarmory this time instead of going for the all-around good counter of Azumarill. I want to just be able to farm down the Lantern if I get into a good matchup. Unlucky for us, we start Medicham versus the Azumarill. This is bad. And as I've said in previous videos, I really like to get to that first power-up punch, use the power-up punch, and swap out into something that isn't bad against his Azumarill. So at this point, we found out we already knew at this point that his Azumarill is a Hydro Pump Ice Beam Azumarill, so we don't really have to fear anything on Lantern. So we're not going to shield anything because we know there's no play roughs, which is going to be doing the neutral damage. Instead, we'll take the resisted damages of Ice Beam and Hydro Pump. We get into this matchup, which is a Lantern versus Lantern, but we have an energy advantage, so we get to see what he does before he uses his moves. So we see he shields there. And I think about shielding and getting to this Thunderbolt, but I think we end up just, taking our loss here. And the reason I do that is because I thought I want to bring back in my Medicham and farm this guy down so that I can get another power-up punch out. We assume he's going to bring back in his Azumarill, And then when he does, we'll throw out the power-up punch, and then we'll hide back behind Lapras. But he actually brings in Skarmory, which is an interesting choice here. And I still decided I'm going to do the same thing here. And since we have an extra shield, I think we're just going to take this match. And then I want to have a little bit of energy still going into that Azumarill matchup. And he actually does swap into Azumarill anyways, because I think he was thinking, you know, he doesn't want to get farmed down. He was thinking on our level and wanted to counter it. But, like I said, the Azumarill only has the Ice Beam and Hydro Pump, so on Lapras, we're kind of not scared of that. It's not going to be doing enough damage to us since it's not very effective. And then we go for the Skull Bash here, which is neutral to Azumarill and really good against it. And now we try to get to the Surf here. We do an Under Tap. That's really good for us. And I think the Surf is going to take out the Azumarill, which is going to leave us with just the Skarmory here. And I think about swapping out, and then I thought, you know, I can make it to the Surf. Could not. But we have 2 shields in the back, so we're going to use one here and just auto it down. Although I do think it did have enough energy for, yeah, he was able to piggyback on himself. We didn't even get an auto attack in there. But we had 2 shields left, so we weren't really scared. And we didn't want to use any moves there because he did have a shield left, and we knew we could just take him out with auto attack, so that's what we wanted to do. So, like a lot of my videos, we always end up facing Road Warrior at the end in this league. And he has a unique team. Well, one unique member on his team is Muck. And funny enough, before the game started, I was looking at his team comp, and I was like, "Oh, Muck, I bet you were getting people with that Thunder Punch." And he didn't really say anything. But after the match, he was like, "You know, you're the only one here that knew that Muck had Thunder Punch." And the only reason I knew that was because I had been tricked before in the Twilight Cup with a Muck that had Thunder Punch, and took out one of my flyers. So we start out Lapras here, and I didn't really know how this matchup went, but I thought, you know, I can get to the Surfs before he gets to a 4th Thunder Punch here, which would take us out, because this one's only going to do about half of the remaining health we have. So, and I thought if I get to that Surf, I bet I'll take him out and I'll have the switch advantage, which is all I was trying to get. We ended up using both of our shields in the first minute of this match, so this match is going to be coming down to switch advantage. We're able to under tap here for a Surf. It's not going to do very much damage, but, you know, we're just trying to chip away at this Lantern. And I'm going to bring in Tropius because I'm really close to this, this Leaf Blade here, which is going to do a ton of damage. It does survive, and he ends up swapping out into Skarmory, and I got to get out of there, so I swap into Azumarill as soon as I can. Got tripped up a little bit on that switch. You got to remember to wait for your auto attack to finish before you switch. Otherwise, the switch window will drop down. And we're just going to be trying to get as many Ice Beams as we can off and use Azumarill's bulk to tank up as many Sky attacks as the Skarmory can put out. Now we're getting pretty low here, but I do believe we are able to survive a Sky attack here. Yep, and we can definitely make it to this Ice Beam to take out the Skarmory. And yeah, we'll be low on health against this Lantern, but our switch clock is almost up also. We actually end up going out anyways. But Tropius can take a Thunderbolt. It only does neutral damage because his Grass type resists it, while his Flying type, it's very effective against his Flying type. And we know we're going to make it to this Leaf Blade, which is going to take out the Lantern. I mess up a little bit there. I will say, on the charge move minigames, sometimes it's not worth it to try to catch one that you missed on the faster ones, because you could screw up your whole rhythm in catching the rest of them. So you saw it there. I missed one. I tried to go back for it, which caused me to miss another 2 or 3. This game, we decide to go with the same matchup. I really like this team comp if they don't have any grass types. The Lantern, Tropius, Azumarill, I think it's really good. So we started Skarmory there into our Lapras, then he swapped out into Muck, and we decide to... Oh, did I start Azumarill there? Oh, I'm sorry. And we switch into Lapras, and we're going to do the same thing we did in the first match, except that we saw that Thunder Punch go off in that first match, so we were able to get the... we know how much damage it does, so we're able to just take one to the face. But I do think we want to take it out here, so we're fine shielding this Thunder Punch and making it to this Surf. Actually, we end up auto-attacking it down. That's really good for us. We have a Surf against anything he brings out. We assume he's going to bring out the Skarmory, which Surf does fine against. It's neutral. And I don't think we'll be able to make it to another one, but we do take one shield, his last shield there, which is good for us. And we actually would have made it to that Surf, but he had charge move priority there, so we don't want to keep him alive. He's really low on health. He would have died to 2 more Sky attacks. Yeah, we could have gotten a Surf off, but I think it's better to have that shield later on rather than have it for just 1 move's worth of a Pokemon. So here we use it to conserve our half health Azumarill, and we get a little bit of energy during his switch out, and then we swap to Tropius. It's going to take 2 Leaf Blades, I think, plus all of the auto attacks in between to take out Lantern here. And we know he has Skarmory in the back, so we need to be wary of how much HP we come out of this matchup with. So you notice I'm taking a little bit of extra damage there, getting a little bit of extra energy. I think his Skarmory was still at like 35% in the back, so I want to throw off a Leaf Blade if I can. And I don't want this Tropius to be in this matchup for too long because we know we're going to get farmed down. Now, there it did seem like I could have gotten to the Aerial Ace. I think I was getting a little scared there that I wouldn't be able to get a move off. And the Sky Attack comes in, but we actually survive. Man, Azumarill is so tanky, it's actually insane. And we just take him out with the Ice Beam there. So, awesome. This month's come to an end, all of the Mirror Cups, and I just wanted to go over this month in review for me. We did 1 Boulder Cup, which we won. We went 4-0. And we did 3 Mirror Cups. We went 3-1, 2-2, and then we won our final one. If you notice, the main differences there were that we put in Togekiss instead of Toxicroak. You know, I was too tired of just having Toxicroak on the bench and never bringing it in. And when we subbed out Togekiss in, we actually used it in every single match, I think, in that tournament, almost every single game. And it really worked out well for us. So we won 10 and lost 5 in the Twilight Cup. And then in the regionals, we actually won 3 of our regionals of the 5 that we attended. We got bronze in the other 2. And what to note on these is, if you notice, my comp is different every single time. Of these 5, none of them had the exact same comp. So what that tells me is that regionals is such a diverse meta that you can bring almost any type of comp that you want. As long as you know how to run it, you're going to do pretty good. And yeah, you see our win rate for the month is pretty close to 80% there, which I grinded out a ton of matches this month because I wanted to get y'all a lot of videos for tournaments, and we actually did really well. I'm a little surprised myself, but this is what happens when you practice a lot. You're going to do, pretty well. So thanks for watching. I think we're going to start doing a lot of cliffhanger stuff. I'm really trying to get the 0-point team to work, but every combination of 0-point team I put together, the weaknesses, you can just see them. They're there. So we're going to keep trying, but that's going to be in the future video. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to see that in the future. And thanks for watching.